Ladies and gentlemen, it has finally arrived. It is the inaugural episode of the Oneida Pride Podcast right here from Oneida High School in Oneida, Tennessee. We will preview this weekend's class of 2025 graduation. We'll also have a sit-down interview with our teacher of the week, Miss Paige Cross. Your outlook on the weather for Oneida for the next week. A look at upcoming events this week for the Oneida Special School District. A look at the week in review as well as the week ahead for Oneida athletics. And we'll wrap things up with a sit-down interview with OHS Principal Ms. Stacy Love. All that and much more on the inaugural episode of the Oneida Pride Podcast coming at you now. And back here on the Oneida Pride Podcast here this afternoon, Bo Kidd alongside Faith Mitchell, Colton Pennington, and Amarian Kidd. Guys and gals, this is graduation weekend for the Oneida High School class of 2025. We have graduation in Jim May Stadium, 7 p.m. on Saturday, weather permitting, a nice size class graduating here on Saturday.
Yes, 95 seniors will receive a diploma this Saturday.
There are 16 valedictorians this year in the class of 2025. Faith, give us a rundown of all those valedictorians.
You have Gabe Brennan, Adeline Buttram, Acadia Burge, Caden Chaney, Jillian Cross, Elizabeth Calavig, Bladen King, Mahala Martin, Kendall Mays, Kaylee Smith, Morgan Strange, McKenna Terry, Lauren Thompson, Philip Thompson, Allie Tillett, and Connor Woods, all with a GPA of 4.1071.
4 salutatorians also as well in this class. Amarian, you got those for us.
It's Catherine Burris, Savannah Chitwood, Presley Quinter, and Eli Sewell with a 4.0714.
And then one other honors graduate as well, Colton.
Sabrina Lawson with a 4.0357 GPA.
You do the breakdown on that, guys. This is the incredible part. 17% of the class are valedictorians this year. 22% of the class graduated with a 4.0 or higher. I mean, just incredible numbers out of this class of 2025. Very, very successful academically. We're going to talk about the athletics portion of this class here upcoming later on in the podcast. You guys, I know, are underclassmen, but you've been involved with some of these seniors as well. Talk about just your interaction with this senior class since you've been here. Go ahead, Faith. Start with you.
I mean, a lot of them are just really good mentors, I guess you would say. They know, like, they help you with which classes you need to go to, if certain things, and tell you, like, which teachers to go to for studying, people that are going to help you. They also help you. It's just they're a good class.
Colton?
Oh, we got a lot of inspiring seniors in this 2024 class. And
2025.
2025.
Started 24, but
yeah. 2024 to 2025 class. And they're all great in their own ways. But, yeah, we got a great class this year. They help you out a lot and try to make it easier on you. Try to tell you some ways.
Maureen?
I just think a lot of people look up to them, like the elementary school and middle school.
Yeah, of course, a lot of these people that we just spoke about as well, also involved with a lot of exterior groups, National Honor Society, Beta Club, Best Buddies. Some of them, I believe, are on the Stand Coalition as well with the YSLI board and everything else. So a lot of involvement out of this 2025 class. A lot of community service hours put in by this class as well. So congratulations to them. Once again, graduation this coming Saturday, 7 p.m. at Jim May Stadium. Weather pending on that, of course. If weather does not allow it to be outside, of course, that'll be moved inside to the OHS gymnasium. You can always keep up with that if there's any kind of changes on our social medias as well. We'll take a break and come back with our Teacher of the Week interview right here on the Oneida Pride Podcast. And welcome back to the Oneida Pride Podcast here this afternoon. Bo Kidd along with Faith Mitchell and Kanan Shoemaker. And we have now made it to our Teacher of the Week segment. And today we have Miss Cross, our art teacher, in for our Teacher of the Week. First off, Miss Cross, thank you for being here with us this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, so first off, tell us just a little bit about yourself and your family.
Well, I was born and raised on the southwest coast of Florida. Grew up fishing and diving, those kinds of things. I have two brothers, and we spent most of our time on the water. Went to school there, graduated, went to the University of Florida, attended the University of South Florida for my graduate degree. Happily married. I have a 18-year-old son. I have a 21 almost year old stepson, and I have a 23-year-old stepdaughter. And that's about it.
So how did you find your way to being a part of Onata High?
Ironically, my husband and I were kind of just looking for a piece of property, looking for a place to kind of move to eventually. And we brought our boys up here on a fishing charter in Kentucky. And we were driving through and we found this beautiful piece of property. And we put a bid in on it, and we were happily awarded a great deal. So we have a beautiful piece of property here, and Oneida happened to be around the corner. And I ran into Miss Love at a couple of football games, and she was looking for an art teacher. So kind of how I got here.
Was art a personal passion that you turned into a career, or was it something that came about you later on?
Kind of a little bit of both. I grew up, my mother was an acrylic artist, so I attended a lot of local art guild shows when she was actively painting. My older brother was a commercial artist for years until print media kind of went obsolete and everything has gone digital. And I've always loved art. When I was younger and I was into education and teaching, a lot of opportunities to teach art weren't available because they were very limited. And when I moved here, that became something that was available. So I took the opportunity.
So I know before you came to Oneida, I know that you taught another subject. Did you enjoy that as much as you do teaching art? And what subject was it that you taught?
I have taught every grade 1 through 6 and now 9 through 12. I have taught predominantly math and science. And yes, I just love kids. So it doesn't matter to me really what I'm teaching. They're the reason I do what I do.
So what is your favorite aspect of art?
Probably that there's really no rules. I think art is something that anybody can partake in, and there's so many different mediums to work in, and there's really no right or wrong. And I think that that's an opportunity where kids and adults alike can just take some risks, be vulnerable, and do some pretty cool stuff.
Everybody has their favorite hobbies outside of school, so what's yours?
Oh, gosh, I love to be outside. So whether it's hiking, I love to fish, especially offshore. Back home, like I said, we grew up on the water skiing, diving. I love to dive for lobster, dove every year probably from the time I was 6 up until my adulthood. And of course, I love to draw and travel. So if I can travel and get out of town and get with my family in places we've never seen, that's probably top of my list.
All right, so now we've got some little quick hitter questions for you, and we're going to see how you would feel about these types of situations. So, would you rather
Oh, no.
have a magical cup of coffee that never runs out, or a magical lunchbox that just packs itself every day?
Clearly, I'd rather have an endless cup of coffee. That's pretty much my go-to. I usually don't get to eat lunch, so the coffee is, where it's at.
Okay, would you rather wear a costume to school or pajamas?
Pajamas, hands down. I'm not a costume person. Ironically, as an artist, people are like, oh, but no. Halloween is great for kids, but it is not my holiday.
Would you rather have a TA that organizes or a TA who grades?
Grades. A TA grades. I can organize, but grading is something that I have a lot of mixed feelings about. So.
All right, a couple more. Would you rather have a week of lesson plans written for you, or one free personal day to write your own?
If I got to pick who wrote my lesson plans, I'm kind of a control person when it comes to that stuff, and I don't know that anybody would really necessarily know much about my kids or how I run my room. So I would rather have the personal day to write my own.
Would you rather receive 10 pages of feedback on your teaching or a 5-minute coaching session with a mentor?
A 5-minute coaching session with a mentor. I think we learn so much better from each other. And quite honestly, I don't know that I'd read through 10 pages of anything written about my teaching.
Anything else you want to add about your experience here at Onata?
It's been different because I've always taught elementary. So for the first 18 years of my career, it was elementary. This is actually my first opportunity to teach high school kids. And it's been really enjoyable. My kids are really why I come to work every day. I'm kind of secluded over in the corner, so I don't see a lot of adults, to be honest. But and having kids that are close to my boys' age it's rewarding to see that he's around some pretty fantastic kids. So,
well, Ms. Cross, thank you for joining us here today, and we're going to take a break. Come back with our next segment of the Oneida Pride Podcast here shortly.
Welcome back to the Oneida Pride Podcast. This is Cannon Shoemaker with your look at the weather for the week of May 5th through the 11th here in Onata. The rain from the weekend finally clears out on Monday morning, giving way to partly cloudy and mostly sunny skies for the week. After Monday's high in the mid-50s, the rest of the week looks great with highs in the lows to mid-70s and lows in the upper 40s to low 50s. For graduation Saturday on May 10th, it looks to be a beautiful day with mostly sunny skies and highs in the lower 70s and lows around 50. Sunday looks to be even nicer with highs around 75 and a low in the mid-50s. That's your look at this upcoming weekend weather. I'm Cannon Shoemaker for the Oneida Pride Podcast.
Welcome back to the Oneida Pride Podcast. I'm Zakai Bird, and this is your look at the upcoming events at Oneida High School for the week of May 5th through May 11th. On Tuesday, May 6th, Oneida High School will host 8th grade transition day from 8:30 to 10 a.m. As soon-to-be freshmen will come check out classes in high school to see how a daily class will be next year. Also, on Tuesday evening is the Oneida School District Night of Honor celebrating the faculty and staff of Oneida Special School District at 6 p.m. in the lower gym. On Wednesday, May 7th, Oneida High School will host the Ayers Foundation Awards and Signing Day beginning at 9 a.m. in the upper gym. On Thursday, May 8th, the Oneida High School Best Buddies Club will have a field trip. On Friday, May 9th, the class of 2025 will have senior breakfast at 8:15 a.m. They will then have senior walkthrough beginning at Oneida Elementary School. Seniors will load the buses at 8:45 a.m. Finally, on Saturday, May 10th, the OHS class of 2025 will host graduation at Jim May Stadium at 7:30 p.m., weather permitting. Rain contingency will move graduation indoors to the upper gym, and that's a look at the week ahead at Oneida schools.
It's now time for your week in review for Oneida Athletics, as well as your preview of things to come this week for the Oneida Indians. For the Oneida High School softball team, they had a phenomenal week, going 4-0 last week, including wins over Sunbright, at Scott High, and then a doubleheader victory at Jellicoe. The Oneida High School baseball team had a couple of games scheduled this week for Monday and Tuesday against Scott High, but those games had to be canceled. Our OHS soccer team was also victorious this week in a pair of contests against district foes Oliver Springs and Rockwood. Our OMS Middle School Soccer Indians rounded out an undefeated regular season on Tuesday with a victory over Campbell County on 8th grade night. Those same OMS Middle School Soccer Indians completed their perfect season on Saturday in the EUMSS tournament, where they defeated both Cock County and Cumberland Gap to earn the EUMSS tournament championship. Congratulations to those Indians, as well as the coaching staff and head coach Marcus Birchfield. Now for a look ahead at this week in Oneida Athletics, and it is a busy Monday, May the 5th, for all of the high school teams. The OHS softball team will travel to Alcoa on Monday night to take on Pigeon Forge in the first round of the District 2 AA softball tournament. The winner of that game moves on to face the Tornadoes of Alcoa later on in the evening. The OHS baseball team will also travel to Alcoa on Monday to take on the Gatlinburg-Pittman Highlanders. And finally, the OHS soccer team will also host the first round of their district tournament on Monday night as they host the Bobcats of Oliver Springs. Kickoff for that game is scheduled for 6 p.m. at Jane Terry Hoffman Field. And that's a look in your week of athletics at Oneida School District. And welcome back to the Oneida Pride Podcast. Bo Kid, Tanner Buttram, V-Tran here with you this afternoon. And now we are joined by OHS Principal Ms. Stacy Love. Ms. Love, first off, thank you for joining us here this afternoon.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be a part of this.
All right. So first off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Okay. So my family consists of myself and my two twin boys that are in college right now, graduates of Onata High School. Aiden, who is at MTSU, should graduate this summer, and Lauren is at University of the Cumberlands, and he should finish up hopefully sometime. He's taking a little slower path, but it's all right. Aiden will be a film and media major, and Lauren is majoring in business with a minor in accounting.
Oh, nice.
So, and then my mom is a huge part of my life.
How did you find your way to being a part of Oneida High?
Well, I was born actually in Middle Tennessee. My mom's family is originally from here, but my dad's side of the family was all from Middle Tennessee. They ended up moving here. We moved around quite a bit. I was in 3 different schools before I got into first grade. So ended up, I was in Smithfield and then Louisville, Kentucky, and then ended up in Winfield, and that's where we stayed. So I was a Winfield girl, went to Winfield Elementary up until my sister could drive, and then came to Oneida in 5th grade.
Can you give us a little description of what it's like of the day of a principal here?
Wow. Okay, so it is a lot of, I have a calendar that is pretty much my Bible that keeps me where I'm supposed to be because there's so many things going on at the high school. There's district meetings and like compliance things that you have to do for the state, federal, trainings that you have to go to. There's just so many pieces. I kind of like think of it like you're trying to like carry a puzzle like while you run, and you just like trying not to drop pieces of it as you're going, because whatever you're focusing on, you're doing really well. Or I feel like the things that I'm able to spend time on are done really well. And then when I do that, then other things aren't, I'm not focusing on those, and maybe those are slipping or not doing as well. So it's a job of like constant thinking. Like it's not somewhere I thought I would end up. I never set out to be in administration. I should have said that what landed me at Onata. So let me get back to that really quickly. So I graduated from Onata High School and went to Tennessee Tech as an art major. Was inspired by one of my teachers here, Miss Ross. Told me to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do after high school, and she said, "Stacy, you love art. You're good at art. Just at least take one art class in college." And so I listened to her and did that, and immediately knew like this is where I want to do it. Like I could take art classes for the rest of my life. And then I also started kind of reflecting that I didn't really have art as a kid when I was little here. I went like at the county school. It's a poor school. I'm not sure if they had that in elementary school at Onata, but there just wasn't.
I did at least.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of like arts programs for kids. And since that was such a space that I could be successful in, I wasn't a truly academic student per se. I didn't know how to be a good student, I think, and I struggled in high school. And so, I made decent grades, but struggled in math a lot. So things like that. But art was like the space. That was the place I lived when I was at school here. That was my safe space and something that I was good at, whereas all my friends were like all valedictorians. I was like the artsy one. So I found a lot of identity in that. Got married and had kids and spent 8 years as a stay-at-home mom, and then divorced and came back. And thank goodness I had my degree. Came back and remember coming to the school. My sister worked here and asking Kevin Bird, like, what? I know you don't have an art position available, but what can I do? Like, what certification can I go get? I need a job to support my kids. So I'm a Christian. I believe that that it was certainly the Lord taking care of me. But the current art teacher that day came to him and said that she was resigning. And so we walked in the gym and he said, "You're hired." And I couldn't believe it. So that's what landed me at Oneida. I'd applied for a couple other jobs and they kept saying, "You're overqualified. You have a 4-year degree." And I was like, "I don't care if I'm overqualified. I need a job." Oneida was, again, kind of this space that was safe for me and good that I can come back to, and loved being an art teacher. They told me I had to teach drama. I didn't know anything about drama at the time, which is weird because most people know me as a drama teacher, not an art teacher. But the drama program kind of exploded just because I think that was just a lot of learning alongside with kids, which is always a better situation, I think, for students because I don't have all the answers. We're just going to figure it out together. And then went back to get my administrative degree as just a way to make a little more money, and landed there. "Hey, will you go down and help the element?" This is how they do it. Like, go down and help the middle school with some discipline. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that sounds all right." And the next thing I know, I'm just like, "Okay, no, you're assistant principal of the high school now. And okay, now the principal's leaving. Would you consider applying for that?" So it just happened very quickly. But weirdly, it is back to the original question, which is, what does my day look like? It is tons of problem solving. And I think it works for me because I am creative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm constantly thinking of solutions and things to do to make the school better. So hopefully that's a strength. But I rely on so many people to make this school function in a way. And I don't believe that, the lights are going to turn on, whether I'm the principal or not. It's going to run. It's going to be good. It has been for years. There's a great foundation here. I'm just hoping to continue the good things that are happening, and that this is a good place for kids to be, and that they know that they're cared about. It's not perfect. It's high school. High school's hard.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of things going on in high school. People socially climbing and stepping on you on their way up and talking about you, and you got coaches, that are pushing you, and teachers that are pushing you all the time. It's pressure. Overall, I want it to be a good place. So that's my goal, because it was a good place for me. I loved going to high school here.
I'm also a graduate, of course, of Onata, so I understand exactly where you're coming from. And you hit on some other points that we're going to revert back to here momentarily whenever we get down a little bit later on in our interview. But and you hit a little bit more on this already, but what part of the job inspires you the most of being an OHS principal?
The hardest part about being a principal is that I'm not around the students. So whereas as a teacher, that is like what constantly brings you back to your job, is that you're interacting. There's this energy that comes with kids. They're young and they're energetic and they're funny, and you get all those interactions. They can be frustrating too, of course, but overall, like, I really enjoy the kids. This is why I have this job.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even the kids that struggle, the ones that maybe academically don't do as well, or kind of are having a bad day, those are the kids that I really tend to bond with more, the ones that struggle. So, I guess rowdy boys or whatever, like, I have patience. I have some patience.
Just happen to be seeing one right here.
Yeah,
as well.
I have some patience for that. And like I said, I think that a lot of things in my life where I was kind of a slacker in high school, and I was a master at getting out in the hall, getting away from class, and, "Oh, can I run an errand for you? Or can I do this for you?" Like, it's made me a bit, because I'm like, no, you're not going to get that by on me, because that was me in high school, and I know it's not going to work. So, but that is what students, I love to see them showcase their talents. Like, that is when I feel, and I don't think that's just being a principal. I was like that as a teacher too.
Yeah.
But like when my kids would perform in drama, when they would do an art piece, when they're on the athletic field, and like I see them be successful, it's just like the greatest thing. I love it. So I love the light coming on in class too when you're teaching and they get it, and that's just like that is like an adrenaline
And
boost.
that's sort of what this project has been with this podcast. It's when we got it all set up, and then I saw the light bulbs hit with the kids. They got over here, they started enjoying getting to mess with the boards and recording and everything. I felt the same way. For the next question, I don't think there's a better person to ask than one of our seniors here for this next question. So go ahead, Tanner.
Am I on the right question?
Yeah, you're on the right one.
So what are your memories of 2024 and 2025 going to be at the completion of this year? Like, what's your favorite ones, any of them?
I love as far as things that have happened this year, I love the debate. I thought that was great.
Oh, that was classic.
Yeah. We just keep adding things that are fun. I really enjoyed the soccer team. I love the personality of the soccer team. I don't know what it is. Not that I don't like the base. I like all the sports, but they just seem like they're having fun. Not all the time, I know, but it just seems like a really good atmosphere there. It's been a tough year. There's high expectations, but one of the greatest things that for me, there are things you're judged on as a principal.
Yes.
Your school is judged on, and to have the number one. In the state of Tennessee, that we had the most benchmark growth on ACT was. That was year. People don't see all the years of building testing environment and convincing kids to try on the test. I know this isn't valuable to you, but please just you may need it later, or just if nothing else, if you just don't hate me, try on this, please. And I'm going to try to give you as many rewards as I can and make it good if you will try. And our students, we don't have, or at least it's not very often that you have a kid that will just fill in answers and lay their head down. And I saw that when I first became principal. I saw that, and that's very discouraging when a teacher, even if you don't like the teacher, they have spent a ton of time trying to teach you and trying to pour into you, and to go in and just you're really hurting them because they're judged. That they get a level, especially those tested classes, get that level of effectiveness, and we're never asking you to do anything more than just your best. And if you try, that's most kids will do pretty well in their ACT. But if you have a kid that goes in there and just does not care and they're just not going to do it for you, you can have a kid that has a 34 and you get that 10 or 11 in, which is you didn't do anything. It kills the 34. So they're looking at that average, and there's just not many kids. You're talking 86 kids. One kid is a difference in an average. So lots more things also, but those are just the things that popped in my head. There's tons of things every year.
What do you think is the most important quality in a teacher?
Every time I interview somebody, I don't know if you guys have seen that meme that's hates kids, becomes a teacher.
Yes, I have.
That is, to me, the single most important thing to me is that you should like kids. It's not like you're not going to get frustrated with them. Of course, I was a high schooler. I was a frustrating high schooler to deal with. Ask my parents. You go into this job to understand that this is a space where, you've got hormones pumping through your body and you got social pressure, and you guys have a totally different, the students now have a totally different set of pressures that I didn't experience with social media and things like that. It's just, there's a lot going on. So you have to be patient in that and understand that this is not only it's about academics and we're teaching academics, but you're also teaching people how to navigate life and navigate personalities, and there's going to be missteps along the way. There's going to be mistakes. No one, as I tell people when they get in the discipline office, especially kids that are rule followers and oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. It's very hard to make it out of high school, to be here 4 years and never get in trouble. To never make a mistake is very, very hard to do. And like I said, the kids that I usually get the closest with are the ones that make the most mistakes, because those are the ones I'm interacting with a lot and having conversations with, why are you making bad decisions? Please come to school. Please do your work. So that's I don't want to have a teacher at the school that doesn't like kids, or that even if the kids feel like they don't like them, we need to do something about it.
All right, so we're going to finish off the interview with a couple of quick hit questions. These are more of a would you rather style of question. So the one that I've got for you is, would you rather have a staff that is highly creative but sometimes a little bit disorganized, or a staff that's highly organized but sort of lacks a little bit of creativity?
I'm an art teacher. Of course, I'm going to choose creative. That can be dangerous because I struggle sometimes to be organized because along with the creativity comes this ADD thing that is I've got this idea over here and I've got this idea over here and I'm not really doing anything well. Focus is important, but I take creative all day long, every day.
Yeah, I've learned that organized chaos is much better to have than to be just completely set.
Yeah, because you don't want rigid.
No,
Like, I mean, it's
exactly.
good. Like, you know, your math people that's the personality. You need them to be rigid. You need
Yes.
that piece of it, but you also need teachers that are willing to make that.
Sort of go beyond the boundary.
Yeah, like this is how it applies to life, and because nobody wants to come in and just grind through curriculum. Like, this is horrible. So you need that creativity.
Would you rather have a magic wand to fix discipline issues or one to instantly improve testing scores?
Probably test scores. I think discipline is something that I really like. If I could have it, like my dream job would be to be an assistant principal, not a principal. So I liked dealing with discipline because it allows you to really get to know students and know their lives and know like what motivates them and why they're doing. Because there's always behind every behavior, there's something that's driving it. So to me, it's I won't say fun, but it's so interesting to me to figure out what is the root of what's causing this, and it's usually never what you think it is. So you're upset with a student because they're doing something, and it may take you a month to figure out, okay, I had no idea that there was this thing happening that was causing this. And when you discover what it is and you have a conversation about it, then there's like this thing that happens where we're going to do better. We now acknowledge this and we move forward. So test scores, that is so determined on the day. I mean, you wake up that day and you feel horrible.
Yes.
And that is the measure of your school year. It's
Yes.
ridiculous. So that testing thing is, yes, it's a measure, but if we're doing our best, we're doing our best. I'm totally fine with that. So definitely the magic wand on the testing.
Would you rather have a school-wide cleanup day or a student-led fundraiser?
Oh man, if I didn't have Mr. like Lackey and the maintenance crew we have, like we don't need a cleanup day. Like our school is ridiculously clean. So if we could help someone in the community, that would definitely be what I choose.
Okay, and then final question coming from Tanner.
So, would you rather be remembered as a principal who empowered students or inspired teachers?
Gosh, that's hard. I mean, I would want both, hopefully,
Yeah.
but the students are at the center. Like at the end of the day, this is a job for the teachers, and everything we do should be driven by students and what students are doing, the opportunities we're giving them. So I would definitely say this. I'm sorry, what was the or students what?
Remember as a principal who empowered students or inspired teachers?
Yeah, empowered. If we have empowered students, we're gonna have inspired teachers.
Thank you for coming on with us here this afternoon. We're going to take a break and come back with our final thoughts of our inaugural Oneida Pride podcast here shortly. What a phenomenal first episode we have had here today on the Oneida Pride podcast. Special thanks to all of our students involved, as well as our teacher of the week, Miss Paige Cross, and of course our principal, Miss Stacy Love, for coming in and sitting down on our inaugural episode. Join us back here soon for the second episode of the Oneida Pride podcast, talking about new innovative programs coming to Oneida in the upcoming year. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you soon.